What's good, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is the after show. We all been sitting here having a great discussion about power, as well as Michael K. Williams, RIP, on Lamont Tyson channel. If you haven't already, make sure you check him out. Subscribe to the brother. And so tonight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep that discussion going. And we got hold on, let me move this. My damn arm be hurting. Anyway, got my girl Moochella, came to hang with one fella tonight. And Queen Nita the Diva in the building. What's good?
Hey, hey.
Hey, what's up? We was waiting on Larry the Legend to come through. I don't know what's going on, if Larry's still coming. But, you know, hopefully my boy Larry come on through, because I definitely wanted to hear a little bit more about what he had to say about Michael K. Williams and how he felt. So before we get into that, I'll say that to the end for when he come, and we could just say a little something before we get started. RIP to Michael K. And Moochie, you got anything you want to say before we get it going? Go ahead, Moochie. But we got Larry in the building. Better late than never.
What's up, y'all?
All right, all right.
Some wine.
Gotta get that wine on. All right, Moochie, what you want to say about Michael K?
I already basically said what I he has a lot of credits to his work. It's not just The Wire. He was on When They See Us. That was the Netflix thing that talked about the Central Park 5. And the latest thing was Spike Lee, that documentary we was talking about, Jay, that was about 9/11.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was on something about people in prison not too long ago too.
Exactly. And when he did his life story, he spoke about his struggles with addiction.
Right. I actually was about to pull that up just to, you know, highlight what you were saying. So yeah, on the Hollywood Reporter, he even in 2011 in an interview got real about his scars, struggles, and salvations, and said there's no words to say how fortunate I am. And he was found dead at the age of 54 today. And you know, it comes to a shock to many people. I myself didn't really know he had a drug addiction still. Didn't know he had a heroin addiction ever. So it was definitely a shock to me that that was the case. Nita, what you want to say about Michael K. Williams and his unfortunate passing at such a young age?
Yeah, you know, I really need to check out that documentary or something, whatever you guys are talking about. I didn't hear anything about it. I did not know he had any struggles with drug addiction. I had already said that in the other one, but I just want to say that alcoholism, drug addiction does not erase anything else about your life. You are important, and just because you make a bad choice in life, it does not mean that you are nothing anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't, you know, celebrate his addiction. We're not celebrating his addiction. We are celebrating his contribution to Hollywood. We're celebrating his acting career and what he has brought to, you know, just what we love and adore about what he gives us, his talent.
Yeah, what you just said reminded me of something as well. When I was younger, I grew up in the 80s, early 80s and 90s. And so that Just So Say No and all that stuff, like my mom and dad used to smoke cigarettes. I would break up their cigarettes and I would be all over them about cigarettes and drinking. And if I found out anybody used drugs, I would say they was a horrible person, this, that, and the other. And my mom said basically, because a person may use drugs doesn't mean that that was their whole story or that means they were a horrible person. That mean they had a problem, but that ain't the whole, you know, story. I was like a pretty much cut and dry back then.
Right.
You a drug user, you're a horrible person type thing. And so, not to say using drugs is good, but it's a complicated issue, you know. So, you know, all right, L Dog, you got the floor, man. How do you feel about this? What's up with your thoughts about this Michael K. Williams situation?
Yeah, I will say this. I'm not suggesting that because somebody was a drug addict or died from drugs that their performances, their artistic, you know, accomplishments are somehow less. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that I think that they should not be celebrated in the same way as someone who died from some other means, somebody who died from old age, somebody who died in a car accident, somebody who died from a heart attack. I don't think they should be celebrated in the same way because these people carry a lot of influence, and young people see this and they think, oh, I should use drugs when I'm trying to be an artist. So there's been that whole thing that's been propagated for God knows how long. People saying, oh, you should take these drugs to free your mind. You need to come outside of yourself and all this other stuff that people tell artists. Oh, you have to struggle before you could really be a great artist. All that stuff is just B to the S. And I just think that when we continue to propagate that sort of attitude and behavior, that we end up with a whole bunch of talented people that die. And we should not celebrate that. We should be celebrating the people that lived good lives and still did good work. I'm not saying that you can't watch their movies. And also, the other thing I hate is I hate this hypocrisy of when we say, and yes, Moochie, I guess this is going to be sort of directed towards you, but I hate this hypocrisy of saying that we have to separate the man from the work. No, we don't. We don't do that every day. Every time some white person comes out and calls a black person a nigger, we cancel their ass and we don't separate their work.
But is that right?
That look at Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is one of these.
That's totally different, though. That's apples and oranges.
No. I let you speak, and on Lamont even fucking went off on me tonight because I tried to keep talking when you interrupted me, and I'm gonna either speak and say what I want to say, or I'm just not gonna say anything. So I'm gonna let you guys decide what you want to do.
Just focus on the topic. We on this. We moving on to this. So finish saying what you.
So the thing, what I'm trying to say is that people do stuff all the time. You have Mel Gibson, for instance, who has said all kinds of racist stuff, anti-Semitic stuff. So should we say we're gonna separate him from his work and he's a bad guy, but we're gonna continue to love all of his great work that he did because he's done some great work. He's made some of the best movies in Hollywood history. But you know what you don't see anymore is many Mel Gibson movies because they don't separate the man from the work.
Is that right?
Do that.
I'm asking a question, devil's advocate. Is that the correct way to handle it, though?
I think if we're going to live in a society where people want to say that we're going to have standards that you cannot do this and continue to live and exist in a polite, civilized society, then yes, then we have to say you are attached to your work. It's just like you can't sit up there like the dude from Seinfeld who got up on stage and dropped 250 niggas on there because he was mad because somebody was heckling him. That dude got canceled because you don't get to separate the man from the work.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Is drug use more of a personal problem versus if you calling people names like Michael Richards or Mel Gibson? That's not a personal thing. That's an attack to a group in general. Whereas if you're using drugs, then that's an attack on yourself. And like, for example, you say separate the work. So allegedly, I never met Michael Jordan, but they say he's a bad dude or a jerk, but they don't separate his accomplishments on the court.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me answer by asking you this question. Is it fair if a woman, for instance, goes out there and she has a sex tape that's released? She has a tape of her giving her boyfriend or her brother or her boyfriend or or her husband a blowjob or having sex on camera, and then all of a sudden her sponsors say, well, we can't have you out there. You're not a good representation for our company, so we're going to drop you. So is it okay? She was given those sponsorships because of her work as an actress or a singer. Should we then say, oh no, we're going to go ahead and separate the woman from the work, when we know that's not the reality of the way we live our life? We don't separate the woman or the man from the work. They are attached, because when you go to work, you are that man. And when you go to work, you are that woman. So people, you can't separate them. They are one. And so I think it's disingenuous to sit up there and say we need to go ahead and separate the man from the work when it's a black person, or when somebody overdoses on drugs. Like, for me, I think, like, for me, when somebody commits suicide, I'm not mourning their death. You were given a gift and you decide to squander it. I'm not mourning your death. When you go out there and you overdose on drugs, I'm not mourning your death. I'm not happy to see you go, but I'm not mourning you and I'm not celebrating you.
Maybe let me throw this in, and I'm gonna get to Moochie. Maybe people are not necessarily saying if a person commits suicide, maybe they're mourning that they went through something so unfortunate in their life that they felt that was their only option to deal with it. Maybe, or person with drugs, maybe they're not celebrating that they use drugs, or saying, well, you use drugs. I don't agree with cancel culture either. I don't think that's the right way to go either, because everybody makes mistakes, and all the people that normally cause to cancel people, if we were able to check each person, they got faults and flaws as well. But because they're not famous or a public persona, they got the right to say all this stuff about people as if, they poop don't stink. And I don't think that's right either. And, people are people.
I agree.
Because your job is public doesn't mean you're a priest or should be held to a higher standard. And one last thing, you don't think about it this way. You say young people may see them like him and influence and say, well, he used drugs and he did this or that. Maybe you got to look at the other side of the coin and say, damn, he was this, he was that, and he got on heroin. For somebody asked, how did he die? Allegedly, they found drug paraphernalia, heroin on the scene. Maybe they may say, damn, he died from heroin. I'm not going to mess with that. It took out Michael K, and I liked him. So if it could take him out, it'll damn sure take me out. I'm not going to mess with that.
Maybe what we should do as a society is stop it, or maybe not as a society, but that too, but maybe as a business. Because in most places, if you're on heroin and they know you're on heroin, you don't get to work at your job. You don't get to drive a bus if you're on heroin. What these companies should do, these production companies should do, is they should be drugged. They give these people physicals. If you go and if you're going to be a star in a movie, then you often go get a physical before you start production. And they should, if you're on drugs, huh?
Maybe he stops during a production. I don't know. I'm just devil's advocate. Because it's not like a regular job that you
somehow I seriously doubt that you're an addict, and for those 3 months that you're in production that you stop. I doubt it. But maybe he is. But my point is, maybe we should stop supporting these people and simply say, look, we want you to be clean. We're here for you when you're clean. But when you're not going to work in this industry, period. That is just what it is. We're not going to support our artists killing themselves. It's not going to happen. Okay. And other people out there making these ridiculous comparisons, saying addiction's almost like COVID. No, it's not. You can go, a little kid that's 6 years old can walk into a grocery store with their mom, and somebody can breathe on them and they can get COVID and end up in the hospital and die. 6-year-olds are not walking down to the aisles of the grocery store and catching a fentanyl addiction. So just stop that foolishness.
Okay, hold on. Let Moochie go ahead. Get in there. And I like Paperboy's comment. This is an interesting take on that.
Yeah, I like that too. I was going to ask you to highlight that.
Yeah.
With this whole thing, I totally disagree with you. Mel Gibson did get canceled, but they still show his movies. They showed Lethal Weapon for months straight.
They did all three of them.
They showed all of the movies for months at a time. So that I disagree with you. They cancel them for a little while and then they bring them back. So I mean, I really don't agree with the cancel culture like that, because now it's done over tedious things. If you don't like what's being said, then they cancel you. So I mean, I'm not a fan of it. So now we're basically not gonna have our own opinions about things.
No, we can have our own opinions, but my thing is, I don't like the hypocrisy. I'm thinking to myself, I'm saying to myself, like, I don't want to hear people talk about we need to separate the man from his work, when at the same time you have somebody who goes and punches his girlfriend in the head and drags her out of an elevator, and everybody wants to cancel him. He's no less of a football player the next day.
He's a wife beater. What you comparing two different things, man?
We're talking about separating.
No,
we're talking about separating the man from his work. We're talking about separating the man from his work.
Our words. So
no, we're talking about separating the man from his work.
But
if you don't like what he does in his private life, that's one thing. It's one thing to not like what a person does in his private life versus what you don't like what he does in his personal life. If he could be somebody, could be some, and this was true for a long time. It's still true. In a long time in Hollywood, they had all these stars who were terrible human beings and all kinds of terrible stuff, but they had a whole network, a whole studio system of people that were designed to protect their reputations. We don't have that so much anymore. So you have all this cancel culture.
So you say the same thing about Prince? So we shouldn't listen to his music?
I didn't celebrate Prince when he died.
So what do you say, that we don't listen to Michael Jackson's music? They already canceled.
Didn't celebrate him when he died either.
So this is what I'm gonna say right quick, Larry. Everybody's work is not the same as what they did. You can't compare them all equally. What I mean by not just their work, but what they did on the side, whether they died or not. Like OJ, you know what I'm saying? So you don't say, well, just separate OJ for what he did on the football stuff. What he did off the field supersedes what he did on the field.
What did he do off the field?
Allegedly, it's not been proven in the court of law, which that's a whole separate thing. Like Ray Rice, which you said he didn't go to jail for that, and she actually married him, and they still together to this day, as far as I know. So sometimes it's a little more gray of an area. So allegedly they say OJ may have killed them or whatever. Who knows? Let me just read this comment from my boy Brillo right quick. He said, it's sad. Show him some love. He was a sick man, and it's almost like COVID. He said, I lived it, Larry. And
no,
thanks, Brillo.
It's not like COVID.
Why? Because you didn't
choose. Here's the thing. Someone has to intentionally start using drugs. Unless somebody grabs you, holds you down, and injects you with an addictive drug, you have to intentionally make the decision, the conscious decision, to start using drugs. You don't have that option when it comes to COVID. You can just walk down the street, someone breathes on you, and next thing you know, you're sick. It's not the same thing. And that's that attitude that really just disturbs me, where people want to justify and rationalize all of their bad decisions and all of their bad behaviors and try to make these false equivalencies to other things. And it's just wrong, and it's destructive to all communities, but particularly to ours. We are so quick to give each other, a pass for everything. And I know people often say, oh, black people just want to be crabs in a barrel. No, I am quick to lift black people up. But I'm also not going to give you a pass for doing something so obviously destructive, not to just yourself, but also to the community.
Okay. Hold that thought. Nita, you want to jump in there? You got anything you want to add? The Trap Review asks, is an alcoholic bad? And Savannah said, addiction is a disease.
It is.
What do you think? You want to?
Like I said, addiction
is truly a disease. Just like you said, gay people can be generic. I mean, what is it called? What did he say? He called it something.
What?
What do you call gayness? You said it's hereditary.
Oh.
Okay. addiction can be hereditary. You can have that gene in you, and it can happen to you. And if you get exposed to the wrong type of thing, like what I'm trying to say to you, Larry, my point is the world is not black and white. There is a lot of gray, and you can't operate in good and bad. There is a balance. Like, say, like in your everyday life, you say you want to be a good person. Good to whose standard? Like, I'm trying to understand whose standard, what moral code or compass are you using? What I'm trying to say is that you cannot be that hard on people where people can't find their way back to a good place in their life. If the way you're painting reality, there's no redemption for nobody. There's nobody to make no growth, no progress.
That's
like you don't understand whether or not these like I never even knew he had an addiction. That's what I'm trying to say to you. I didn't even know that. Somebody Moochie said it, and I was like, oh, I hadn't even heard that. So to me, he was operating as if he wasn't even addicted to anything. I didn't even know that until they told us that. And so what I'm trying to say to you is it's always a balance in life. Like there is a balance. It's just not good and evil, because good and evil, the scales are different in everybody's mind.
Yeah, you seem to downplay the gray areas of life a little bit, Larry.
I'm not down. See, I'm not down.
That's not how life is. You know?
I'm not downgrading. I'm not downplaying the gray areas. What I'm saying is I think more often than not, people like to put things in a so-called gray area because they don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. I think the fact of the matter is that people need to just simply know. People actually, I don't say people need to know the difference between right and wrong. People know the difference between right and wrong, but they want to do what's wrong anyways because it makes them feel good in the moment. And then later they want to try and shift responsibility to something else. Yes, if you go, you know that
for you too. When you're done.
You know that addiction is. I know addiction is an illness. You know addiction is an illness. Everybody out there knows addiction is an illness. But when you put that meth pipe up to your mouth and you get addicted, you knew what you were in for. When you smoke crack, you know what you're getting into. You know that your ass is going to get addicted because you are ingesting an addictive property into your damn body. You know, if you go out there and people out there saying COVID is the same thing as addiction because it's a sickness that can kill you, that's everything then. Because if you go out there and you have sex with somebody without a condom and you get AIDS, you know the risk that you're taking when you do it. And if you get it, you can't sit up there and try and say, oh, it's somebody else's fault. No, you took the risk. You did that.
I'm saying that. But what we're trying to say is that you're highlighting that when you could be highlighting something good about that person's life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to highlight somebody who died from drugs because that celebrates them. And then the kids start thinking this is the way to go.
Thing. What if
kids emulate their kids emulate?
That's that is a real thing. That could have been the first time he picked up the pipe and he could have like fell over dead, but that does not erase the 20 years history of his work.
I started off by saying that it didn't. I started off by saying that it does not erase the good works that he did. What I'm saying is that I don't want to celebrate that because young people emulate their favorite stars, their favorite actors, their favorite singers, and if they go out there and they see their favorite rappers, their favorite singers, their favorite, anybody, their favorite writers, whoever, if they see them out there and they're doing drugs and they're getting high, if they start drinking, they want to emulate them and do the same thing because they think that's the same path they should take.
He's not glorifying it though.
Hold on, ladies, hold that thought for 1 second.
Anything about him and his
nobody knew he was even doing drugs if I didn't speak on it. So he's not glorifying it. He talked about it.
You think you were the only one that knew he was doing drugs?
Hold on. Lucy, hold that thought.
Go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
You ain't gotta mute. Just hold on. I just want to thank Montana Max for supporting the channel with the super chat. And then I got 2 questions for Larry. Well, 1 question and it's a 2-part question. Anyway, so first of all, most people start using drugs at a young age when you may not have all your decision-making skills, you know, at the best of their ability. Most people don't start using in their 20s or 30s. And then this is the question I want to know as well. And somebody had a good point as well. But the question I want to know is, who says that drugs are bad? According to who? That's a good question. Now, I'm not saying advocating that drugs are good, but we all know some drugs are more harmful than others. And at one point, most of this stuff was legal, but you know, at one point, alcohol was illegal, and somebody said you take the chance of drinking.
Alcohol's bad too.
Exactly, but you drink. Other people
I do
drink.
because I'm not an alcohol because I'm able to maintain myself with alcohol. I can drink and
But
then I
you
can
didn't
stop.
know that you didn't have that ability until you started drinking. Like people that are alcoholics didn't know that they had the alcoholism disease until they had a drink or two and couldn't stop.
That may be true for some people, but there are other people who know that there is a history of alcoholism in their family, and yet they choose to start drinking. I know for me, I have a history of heart disease in my family, so I make sure I maintain my heart health. I'm constantly monitoring it because I know that that's something I should be concerned about because I have a family history of it. There are quite a few people out there who are very aware that there is a history of alcoholism in their family, and they decide that they're going to go out there and drink or do drugs or whatever, and they're going to go ahead and tempt fate and see if they can get around that addiction. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But when you know that there's a history of addiction in your family, you don't tempt fate. You just don't.
So listen.
Okay. And wait, who said drugs are bad? I'm just asking because, like Nita asked,
I mean,
you said who is this moral
the CDC
code?
says drugs are bad. I mean, if you probably look at the, I'm probably sure there's studies from the FDA. I'm sure there's numerous, academic studies saying that various drugs are bad. I mean if you start talking about various,
we take pharmaceutical drugs.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. If you start talking about different classes of drugs,
and
like for instance,
you can take them irresponsibly too, right?
Right, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. So my point is that if you are talking about certain class of drugs, if you're talking about, opioids, yes, if you take opioids in a controlled environment where you have a prescription for a certain dosage over a certain amount of days, taken over a certain period of hours in during those days, and you maintain that schedule, then you can take those drugs and not become addicted in 9 times out of 10. But if you abuse those drugs and you take them outside of the prescription, then you start talking about using and abusing pharmaceutical drugs. Yes, we know people love pharmaceutical drugs because pharmaceutical drugs apparently are the best and purest thing you can get. However, I will also argue there is absolutely no there is no medical reason for someone to take crack. None.
All right, let Nita get in there. Nita, go ahead. What was you gonna say?
And how am I being disrespectful to black women, Inga, by talking about drugs are bad? You guys are just
don't get into all of that. Don't ignore some of the comments, man. Yeah, they're gonna make you fill that cup up, man.
No, this is the last little bit of it.
What I'm trying to say is that I feel like even in a person's art, like even if you look at Michael K. Williams and the people that he's played in his roles, I feel like that might be a little bit more influential, and he didn't play good characters. A lot of his characters, Boardwalk Empire, The Wire, and Lovecraft Country, all veered on things that were very problematic and very harmful and influential, if you will, because it's out there for public consumption. Like I said, I did not know that this man was an addict. And so what I'm trying to figure out and say is that you get influence from everywhere. You get it from the art. We get it from the shit that we see on Power. We get it everywhere. There is no filter nowadays. And so I just feel like you just got to take a breath and just kind of be like, okay, there are influences everywhere, and it's nothing that nobody can do. But I think in someone's death, you cannot just do them like that. Like just because you don't understand the struggle, don't mean that there was not a struggle. And that's
I'm not saying that.
Like,
I never said there wasn't a struggle. All I said was I don't want to celebrate them.
A statement about suicide, and I think you just should leave it right there, because that right there is just not nothing that I don't think we have.
So if he was using, let me ask you this, Larry. So say he was using drugs, but didn't die from the drug use, died from something else, hit by a car, but then they find out he did use drugs. Well, how would that change your face? I mean, not your face. I'm looking at this comment.
I know, right?
Would that change your opinion, rather?
It might change my opinion, but here's the thing. If he was a known drug user, it wouldn't change my opinion. It wouldn't change my opinion either way. Now, it would be different if he had been on drugs and he had gotten clean. And I'm not talking about that he needs to go out there and start apostatizing everything. Oh, look at me, I went and got clean. I don't care if he goes and tells the whole world, or if people are just like, quietly, he went and got clean. He had a drug issue, he got clean. There's a lot of people out there that have drug issues and they get clean and they move on with their life. I have no problem with that. I don't have any problem with people being on drugs and getting clean and moving on. Those are lives, and those are lives with worth celebrating. When I look at stuff like, what's his name? Robert Downey, what's his name? Michael, what's his dude, the Iron Man dude?
Robert Downey. Yeah,
he right. I want to say Robert Downey Jr. Is it Jr.?
That is him. That's Robert Downey. Yeah.
I was, for some reason, I felt like I was saying the talk show host name. So
Morton, that's Morton Downey.
Right, Morton. Yeah. So today, that dude. Say it again.
Today, then what?
Say it again.
Wait, say it again, Nita. I couldn't hear you either.
No, I was just saying. So we're talking about Robert Downey Jr. and we think that he's made this recovery. But what if we found him dead today? Then what would we say?
And they said they found that in his system.
What would we say?
What would you say? Would you say the same thing?
Yes, I would have a problem with that. Very much so. Yes.
Because somebody in the comments mentioned Philip Hoffman. I'm sorry if I cut you off. The actor Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was
heroin.
He had a heroin addiction and he got clean, and then they found him with that in his body.
Okay. I didn't celebrate their life. I don't celebrate the lives of people like that overdose on drugs. I don't do it.
Robert Downey's performance in Less Than Zero made me never want to use cocaine. I tell you that much.
That was a fantastic performance.
Yeah, I started sucking stick for coke.
Right.
Hold that thought 1 second. Karen come through with the 20 super chat. Thank you so much, sister. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining the membership. I got a video for you. I know you love the videos. I missed playing a couple videos because I didn't want to break up the conversation. But Karen, I got a little something special for you because you always got something special for me. So I'm going to do a little dance for you. We saw Symphony had a song. I got the dance. Here we go. All right. I had to lighten up the mood for a second. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, look. What bottom line is this? Is that if you're out there doing irresponsible things and you end up dying as a consequence of it, I mean, what, I'm supposed to turn around and want to boo-hoo about that stuff? And I mean, there are some things people are just not going to like that I say because I feel differently than a lot of people do. And I know that there's a lot of black folks out there that think that I feel that my ideas and my thoughts and my feelings about certain things in the world are very, very different from theirs. But I also see in the comments there's a lot of black folks out there that think the same way I do. We are very different in a lot of ways. And yes, I have some people are saying I don't understand certain things because I didn't grow up in you know, in the so-called struggle. I just think they don't recognize that there's different types of struggles. Yeah, you're right. I didn't grow up dodging bullets and dipping drug dealers and trying not to join gangs. I didn't grow up like that. No, I did not. You know, I grew up worrying about if I was going to get into the college I wanted to get into. Different set of pressures.
I like what Karen Jones said. You just can't reduce people to only their struggle.
I'm not doing that.
Well, you're not doing that, but it seems as if
you are.
In a way, you kind of, because he was on drugs, you're not going to celebrate the good that he did or celebrate his life. Not to say we need to all get pom-poms, but we're going to give him some flowers for the good he did, and then have a little sympathy and understanding for his struggle. And I think you're not giving a little credit to people get inspired by negative consequences in life. Like, I never wanted to use crack or be alcoholic, because when I would go to the gas stations in the hood or see crackheads, I knew I didn't want to be that. And some people that were doing good and had money in the 80s and driving Cadillacs, and by the time I was driving and doing stuff in the 90s, they were crackheads. Like, they were the dope dealers and stuff, but then they ended up being the users and was broke. And I'd be like, wow, I used to look up to this dude, and now he broke and he need money from me. I'm only 16, 17. Like, right. I ain't never gonna use coke. I ain't gonna never use crack. And so that was a positive influence from a negative action. Like, Davina will probably never use crack because she sees what happened with her mom. And we saw she the only one that wanted to use a condom. Why? Because she raising a kid earlier than she want to. So she don't want no kids. Right. So, you know what I mean? Like, she got a positive outcome from a negative situation. Sometimes we learn from other people's mistakes too. So I
totally get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I fully recognize and have seen time and time and time again how young, influential people, you know, people who are easily influenced, or not even just easily, people who are just they're able to be influenced. Young people, they come and they see things that people have, and like, for instance, you see the guys in the Cadillacs, you see the guys in the BMWs, and you want to be like them. You want to do what they do. And if you see them out in the corner smoking weed and doing drugs, you're going to think like, oh shit, that's what I need to do so I can get my fancy Cadillac, or I can get my BMW, and I can get that hot ass girl with the long hair and the pretty skin and everything else. I want to be able to have that. And if that's what he's doing, that's what I need to do. Well, I don't want to celebrate those things. I don't want to celebrate that. And these young people are out there thinking, oh, man, these people are so creative. They're out there coming up with these crazy ideas for songs, and they're able to unleash their inner emotions so that they can become these fantastic actors. And if that's the way they do it, by doing drugs, if these drugs are allowing them to let go of all of their hesitation and all of their fears, and they can go out there and become these fantastic artists, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to celebrate that and promote that and push that out there, because kids see that and that's what they do. So for me, people that die of drug overdoses, it's like, I'm sad that they died. They were fantastic actors, and now I'm going to move on.
All right, ladies, you all got anything you want to add to this before we move on?
I felt like at the end of the day, everybody was saying how good of an actor he was. I don't. Like, I just felt like when I said that, when Variety put the post out there, they didn't say anything about drugs. That was the New York Post that I heard that from. I didn't even, like I said.
And that's a racist paper, I might add.
When I saw it was on TMZ.
About that,
and then it was on CNN.
You would know before I would.
I still don't feel like nobody is celebrating that. Like, when somebody dies, they're like, how did they die? How did they die? Like, I watch a panel on the Grapevine, and Aisha Tynes, she passed away, and the first thing I said, oh my gosh, she was so influential, and she was so smart and beautiful and young. How the hell did she die? And that was my first question. And I mean, I think it's normal for people to want to know how somebody passed away and transitioned. And I don't feel like I was entitled to it, but I guess people think that things are salacious and they'll put it out there like that. And of course, they will do that. But with Aisha Khan, she actually had an asthma attack and died. And there, I mean, I don't really hear that too often. I hear drug addiction all the time, but like I said, I don't feel like I knew anything about Michael Williams about being addicted to anything. That was not anything that was hindering his life. Like I felt like he lived a full life and he was able to give his contributions and do all of the acting roles and embody them. And I just feel like you just cannot just sweep that under the rug. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're saying you don't want to celebrate it, but you don't want to celebrate the good. So when you say you don't want to celebrate his addiction and you don't want to mourn him, then that's what you're saying. You're saying it, but you're not saying it. You're double talking.
That's not what I feel that I'm saying. But if you feel that's what I'm saying, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you feeling that's what I'm saying, because I am saying that. And if that is what you're taking from it, then I'll accept that.
Yeah, Savage Dan, thanks for the support to the channel. Moochie,
and people out there saying I grew up in a bubble. I didn't grow up in a bubble. I just have, I just don't. This is the thing. I'm a black man in America, just like everyone else, and just like every other black man in America, I don't get to have a bunch of excuses that I can give the world and succeed. I don't get to. I get to go out into the world with my black skin every day, just like every other black man. And so, no, our people can't afford a bunch of excuses. I can't go and tell black men, oh, just go ahead and become drug addicts and then say it's an addiction and everybody's going to be okay. They don't care if it's an addiction when it comes to you. They don't care. So don't get addicted, period. I know that seems black and white. Maybe it is. Don't use drugs. Here's an easy way not to get addicted to drugs. Don't use drugs, period.
Don't use drugs, but you still can not really disrespect somebody who has lost his life. And
I didn't disrespect anybody by saying
anything like that when you DMX.
I wasn't disrespectful at all.
Okay.
I said that the guy's a talented actor, but I don't think we should celebrate that. We shouldn't celebrate the all of this because of the way he died of a drug addiction, because I see the way that young people are influenced by that. We had generations of people growing up looking at Jimi Hendrix smoking weed, thinking, oh, Jimi Hendrix smoking weed, he's doing heroin. I need to free my mind. I need to let it all go. And there was a whole generation that came up following behind that. How Jimi Hendrix died? Drug overdose.
But you give more credit to Jimi Hendrix, or maybe because they were coming back from the war and they was addicted to morphine and those drugs in Vietnam.
All of that. Probably a little bit of all of that.
Okay.
Well, my point is that the people that have a large influence over their fans and society as a whole, when they die of something horrible like that, something self-inflicted, I'm simply not going to celebrate it.
Okay. LSW said, do you believe in grace and mercy?
For white people.
You know what, Kobe 3 James said, no kids are looking up drug overdoses. That's right. That's part of my point. They're not looking up drug overdoses. They're looking up and they're paying attention to the way they live their lives. And when they live their lives and they see them out there doing those drugs, they see them out there high and doing all this great work, they're emulating their lives. And what happens is they then in turn start using drugs, and they go out there and then they get addicted and then they also die. And so, yes, if they did do their research and they saw the overdoses, maybe they wouldn't emulate their lives, but they don't research drug overdoses. They just research the people that they like.
Right. Okay. He said looking up too, but I get what you're saying. They don't do that as well. But I look at it as what you're saying. I see and I get it. But I don't think, in my opinion, you're giving enough credit to people getting positive influence from negative actions. Like they may see him overdosed and be like, I'm not never going to do that because he was one of my favorites and he OD'd on heroin. If they had a party and somebody offer him heroin, they may say no.
They might. They might, but I'm not going to celebrate. I'm not going to celebrate their body of work after that. When they die of heroin, it's like I'm not going to. If I'm not I liked R. Kelly's music. I'm not celebrating R. Kelly's music. I don't even listen to his music anymore. I'm not going to. I'm not. When you do something horrible like that, I'm not going to celebrate you.
But that's like a different. Let's relate it to sports. That's a different on the field penalty. Like he was accused of molesting and raping, statutory raping young women versus somebody that did something to themselves.
Right, but his music wasn't any less. His music wasn't any less great, but I don't celebrate those lives of people who do stuff like that because that's a decision that I made. I have consequences for my actions. People need to have consequences for theirs. And sometimes it's upsetting. Like I would love, I love Mel Gibson movies. I'm not watching one of them. I don't watch his movies anymore. I used to like R. Kelly's music. I'm not listening to his music anymore.
But if you listen to R. Kelly, you're gonna think about him abusing and molesting women. That's different. Whereas if I watch a Michael K. movie, I'm gonna be thinking, damn, this dude died over an overdose at a young age, like gone too soon. I'm not gonna have a feeling of him like a molester or a murderer or a killer. Moochie, what you think?
I already said what I said. I don't agree with him. I feel like he's mixing apples and oranges, and it's very disrespectful how he said it. And that's why I was offended. I just feel like it's disrespectful. Like I just disagree with him. That's all. I really don't have nothing else to say. And all I could do is we could agree to disagree. I have no animosity towards him or anything like that. That's his opinion. He has a right to that.
Okay, we're about to move on. Before we do, Nita, you got something you want to add before we move on, Nita?
No, I was saying there's people in the chat that agree with him, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to tell people, a lot of people have not done the inner work. Everybody doesn't come out perfect. Everybody doesn't. People have been traumatized. People have gone through things, and they have to work those things out. And in therapy, you understand grace and mercy, which SLW talked about earlier today, is that you have to be able to forgive yourself. You make mistakes. You're not perfect. There is no perfect person, not even you, Lawrence George. You're not perfect. We are
never claimed to be.
And you make mistakes, and you have to be able to forgive
and I acknowledge them.
Other people have to be able to forgive you too. And just because you do one bad thing does not erase all of the good that you've done. And that's just it. And that's just
first of all, I want to say to don't trip, I said it. I just want to say,
what is a tune-up?
I'm not going to say it because I don't want to be that person right now, but I will say what you just wrote in there was so far below the belt that I'm not even going to respond to it, because to do so would be to disrespect Jay's channel the things that I was just about to say to you. Because there are some things that you could say that are fine. There are other things that are just below the belt, and you went there. And I'm going to leave it be, but I'm just going to tell you right now, keep your damn name out my mouth, out your mouth. Keep my name out your comments in the comment section too if you're going to spew craziness like that. So people can look at what I say as disrespectful. I just don't sugarcoat stuff. That's just what it is. I pride myself and I live my life in such a way that I'm honest with people. Sometimes honesty hurts. People don't like honesty often. It is what it is. I'm smacked with honesty every single day from people in my life, and I feel like it's disrespectful to be anything less. So people don't like it. That's cool. I get it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. No big deal.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of you guys' input on talking about that. I hope we all got, what we wanted to say out there. And I appreciate the 150 plus people watching right now. That was the Michael K. Williams unfortunate, untimely passing. That's our thoughts on that. You can agree, disagree, agree to disagree, all of the above. But we keep it real. We try to be respectful. Some people may feel it was disrespectful. Some people may feel it was or wasn't. I mean, it is what it is. But for the most part, I will say RIP to the brother. I'm like Nita. I didn't know he was dealing with an addiction at all. And it's unfortunate that 54 years old, he's gone, whatever the case may be. Still not that old. I know you young people in your 20s or younger think that's an old person. It's not. Right. He could at least had another 20, 30 good years left. Right. Shoot, I'm going to be 43 September 17th. So I'm getting up there.
All right.
Yeah, I'm be 43 years old. Yeah.
You a Virgo?
Yep, Virgo. Whatever that may mean or not mean.
No, I just like them.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's why we get along so well.
Yes.
All right.
I did want to say one thing right quick. And this is sort of just addressing, some of the women in the comment section and to a lesser extent the women on the panel. But I know a lot of people seem to think that I am at times disrespectful to women, and I am not. And I'm going to explain to you that I don't see myself as disrespectful to women because I hold women to the exact same standard that I hold men. And I speak about women in the same vein that I speak about men. And I think to do anything less is disrespectful. I think to set women aside as if they are less than and they need to be coddled and they can't be spoken to in the same way about the same things, I think is disrespectful. And I think people get mad because when I speak about women, I don't treat them as if they are anything else. I don't think of them as, oh, let me go ahead and let me put my padded gloves on so I can throw little pity pat punches. No, if I see a woman acting crazy, I'm gonna throw a blow just like I would if I was throwing one at a man. And I say that metaphorically. I'm not talking about hitting anybody, male or female. I'm talking about the way that I speak to women, the way that I talk about women, the way that I talk about men, the way that I'm talking, in general. It's the same across the board. The same. And I know some people don't like that. And when they hear me say things about men, there's nothing said. Nothing. And then when I say those same things about women, all of a sudden I'm being disrespectful. It's not disrespectful. In fact, anything less than that would be disrespectful.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from with that. But somebody, and I know it's hard to please everyone, and I already know you don't have to respond to this, but Don't Trip said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. People say that to me sometimes as well, so. I
have no words for her. She's a joke.
All right.
I saw the stuff. I saw the stuff that she put. It's one thing. It's one thing to disagree with someone. It's something else to put something that's so far below the belt and then to turn around and expect to be respected. No, you don't get to be respected after you've hit so far below the belt with what she typed. I'm not. So no, she's a joke. I don't really no.
Okay, I missed some of the comments. The one comment I did saw, I didn't understand it, but we don't have to address that. Happy birthday to Montana Max.
Put in there.
Okay. Montana Max said it's his birthday today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
And I appreciate you also supporting the channel earlier. I got a video for you. Hold on. This is what Poppy gonna have to go through. I got some leaked footage of Poppy getting attacked at the bodega. And he actually can handle his business. Let's take a look. They thought Poppy was a joke. That's why you know what I'm saying? He put in that work on their ass. They had to come harder. All right. So let's get into power. So we can talk about this scene with Kanan, and he confronted Famous. So one thing that you said on Lamont's channel that was interesting to me, And just to recap, is that Kanan came to Famous about putting his business out in the streets in the rap song. And we had a couple interesting takes. Everybody had some things to say. But one thing you said that was interesting to me, Lamont, is you said that Kanan should apologize to Famous for coming at him like that. So please explain a little bit. Why should Kanan apologize to Famous for Famous putting his business out in the streets?
I mean, the reality of it is that everybody who knows what happened knows what happened. Anybody who listened to this song, is no one's gonna know by listening to this song that it was that he's talking about Kanan or he's talking about D-Wiz or anybody else. They're not gonna know, but the people who know already know. So there's nothing for him to have held back. There's no reason for Famous to have held back in that situation. He's talking about the things that he's seen in the streets. That's what hip hop is. That is what hip hop has been from the beginning, and that's what it is still today in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are talking about stuff that they haven't lived, but they've seen, and that's okay. People say right from experience, right from what you know, right from what you've seen. That's true for musicians. That's true for authors. That's true for screenwriters, for playwrights. It's true for everyone. Write what you know, and he wrote what he knew. He doesn't owe Kanan an apology for writing about his experience. He didn't write the song saying he killed Buck 20. He wrote the song talking about Buck 20 was killed. He wrote about his experience, what he saw.
So Kanan was wrong in your eyes for even coming at him, telling him to stop dry snitching, basically.
Yeah, everybody that knows what's up knows what's up. Everyone. And to be honest with you, Kanan's already in the clear. Like the song was, streets need a body. The streets got a body, and now Kanan doesn't have to worry about it anymore. The streets got their body that was required. That's what Unique said. Unique said streets need a body, and so they gave him one. There's nothing there. I mean, everybody that would have been concerned about what actually happened knew what happened. It wasn't a secret. You know, people often talk about there's no secrets on the street. Everybody knows who did what. So there was no secrets. So for him to rap about it, he's not telling anybody anything new. The people who don't know just think it's a hot song. The people that do know, they already knew anyway.
Except for the police that can collect evidence.
Go ahead, Nita. Go ahead. What's your thoughts on this?
I said, except for the police who can make everything out and follow the song and follow the traces, and he's laid a whole blueprint out for him. Them, rather, not him.
So do you think Kanan owe him an apology, or Famous needs to shut up and owe Kanan an apology?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, even if I even wanna, even if I wanna entertain that apology to Famous, you know, you still never put me in the light that you put me in is always gonna be bad. It's not gonna be good. It's good for you. You're self-serving, you're doing that, but it's not good for me. Because he's telling all of his shit. And I'm just like, no, absolutely not. Especially if, I mean, I can see if he kind of dodged and weaved and did something a little different and kind of took him off the trail. Young, he gave them the blueprint. You see that white girl, that white cop, she is sitting up there itching, trying to figure out, trying to understand what is going on. Her and Hal is going to find it going on. And then all the evidence is going to be laid right in front of Rock, right in front of Kanan. And then what? So
he wrote a song.
To him.
So you think that a song is going to be evidence in a court of law? They're going to be able to say, okay, well, you know, he wrote a song, and so this must be true. He's a rapper, a street poet. He's talking about stuff that people talk about in the streets. People do that all the time.
DNA all over the town, in a trap house, He killed the boy. The gun is still underneath his bed. Ballistic. Come on.
That should be his next song. His next song should be called Trap House Down.
All you
Trap
gotta
House Down.
is place the pieces together and puzzle it together.
Okay.
He should have another song. He should have a song called Trap House Down. He should have another song after that called Lamont's Diner. And then he can have another one called Drywall, and that's enough for an EP right there.
Drywall.
And then he's got enough for an EP.
Call it Marvila.
Gotta go.
Marvila. When you need to make a renovation, call Marvila.
and then he's got enough for an EP right there.
He gotta go.
All right, Moochie, what's your take on this situation? We see Larry say that Kanan wrong for coming at Famous and that he should apologize. Nita saying that ain't no way in the world that Kanan needs to apologize to Famous, that Famous wrong putting out the info. What's your take on that?
He was wrong for putting out the info. He shouldn't have did it. He added names to the things. If he said the rap and didn't add any names, it'd be a different story. But he added names to the story.
I didn't pick up on that. What names did he add?
4 quarters and 2 dimes. That's $1.20.
Right.
He added D-Wiz in there too.
That's true. That's
He's doing
true.
too much talking.
Right, because everybody in the streets already know that $1.20 and D-Wiz were killed. Everybody in the streets know that they were murdered. So for him to sing a song or to rap a song about 2 people in the neighborhood that he's from getting murdered doesn't seem like it's a far-fetched thing. It's just he's talking about what he's seen, what he knows, what's happening in the neighborhood. That's what rappers have been doing since they started rapping.
Yeah, and look how many rappers is getting locked up for what they posting on Instagram.
I think
That's different.
It is not different.
How is it not different?
You got somebody that got the people that was on social media. Wait, let me finish.
Hold on.
Finish.
Let us finish right quick.
There was a group of guys that was on social media rapping with guns. They came and cracked down and arrested all of them just for that video that they posted on. And I don't even think it was. I think they posted on Facebook or something like that. It was like last year.
All right, hold on.
Like a whole
get at that, Larry. Hold on. Nita, did you want to add something to what Moochie said?
What I was saying is about Larry. I think Larry is talking about Famous's intent. Like when he went in there, he didn't go in there saying that I'm trying to dry snitch on you and I'm trying to get y'all hemmed up. That wasn't his intent, but that's what the fuck is going to happen, is what I'm saying.
Okay, Larry.
So here's the thing. There's a big difference between people getting on Instagram and posting live videos of them up there with guns, posting live videos of them shooting up people, posting live videos about them doing actual acts of criminality versus a rapper, an actual artist writing a song and performing a song about things that have happened in the neighborhood and dramatizing those things. So there is a very, very big difference between somebody actually live streaming an exhibition of their real life criminality versus a rapper doing an artistic performance, you know, in an artistic expression of things that he's heard about happen in the neighborhood. Because we know that he was around the corner. He didn't actually see $1.20 die. He wasn't there when D-Wiz died, but he's rapping about those things that he didn't actually see, but he heard about them, and the rest of the streets heard about them.
I correct you. He saw $1.20 die because he came around the corner and told them to come on, the cops is coming.
Right, but he didn't see. Right, he saw him on the ground. He didn't actually see the shots fired.
He heard the shots though, so he was there.
I know he was there. I'm acknowledging that he was there. I'm saying he just didn't actually see it happen.
Who shot and how many, and so he missed He missed a detail, but if they went to court, technically you got a point in the court of law. But
if he went to court, Jay,
right?
If he went to court and they asked him who shot $1.20, he could say, I don't know. Is it possible that D-Wiz shot him? Sure, it's absolutely possible. it's probably more than likely. It's probable that he shot him because there was retribution and D-Wiz was shot as a consequence. So not only is it likely that he shot him, it's probable that he shot him. So I would have to say
he technically didn't see Kanan pull the trigger, is what you're saying.
But he would have to say, I don't know who did it. I was around the corner. I was hanging out, shooting dice or drinking a yoo-hoo or doing whatever. I was in a cypher around the corner and I heard some gunshots and I ran around the corner and saw my friend and said, hey, let's go. People are shooting or the cops are coming.
But that would be a lie, though.
Huh?
But that part would be a lie because he does know it's Kanan and Buck 20 between the two of them that did it. He didn't actually see who pulled the killing shot or who shot the most, but he does know it was one of them two or both.
It could have been, but the other guys were shooting back, so it could have been that one of those other guys shot Buck 20. We don't know, but what he could have done is simply said, I was around the corner. I heard gunshots. I knew my friend was nearby, so I went around the corner and yelled for my friend, hey, come on. Because there was a dangerous scene. I wanted my friend to get out of there. That would have been an entire truth right there.
He needs you for a lawyer if he get in.
Right,
he could have said that, and every word of what he said in that would have been true.
Hold that thought, Moochie. I want to just read what Paperboy said. He said Famous is dry snitching, and if he get pulled in for questioning, he gonna fold like origami.
Yep.
All right, Moochie, read what you was gonna say.
I was gonna say there was a rapper in 2019, a Los Angeles rapper named Draco the Ruler. They used his own lyrics to prosecute him. So don't say it never happened.
Yeah, if you're telling on yourself, but that's a difference. If you're telling on yourself versus if you are doing an artistic expression of your surroundings, if you're talking about the things that happen to you or things that happen in your surroundings, that doesn't mean that you're snitching on anyone. You're just talking about things that happen in the neighborhood. If you're a rapper and you're dumb enough to talk about your criminality on in your lyrics, or you're dumb enough to actually film your own criminality, that's totally different.
But it proves
that's not even dry snitching. That's direct snitching. You're admitting guilt.
Okay.
No, but you said it never happened. I just wanted to prove my point.
But that's not the same thing. It's no point proving because it's not the same thing.
All right, hold on. Let me hear from Nita right quick. Go ahead, Nita.
Is with that, Larry, is that if it can be proven what in the lyrics has happened, then there's a problem here, right? If it can be proven, if somebody goes and investigates whatever he said, and there are direct links to everything that was said in the rap, is that not wrong?
No. If they pull him in and they ask him, how did you know about this to rap about? Where did these lyrics come from? And he says, well, I go to school and people were talking, Buck 20 went to my school and people were saying he got shot by, because he was in a drug game. And then I also went to school with D-Wiz and people were talking about he got shot because of Buck 20, or he got shot because he was in the drug game. And so I wrote a song about it because I was hurt by it. D-Wiz was my friend, or this was happening so close to me that I felt like I needed to make. I felt like hold on. So I felt like I needed to get that out of me. So I wrote an artistic expression about it in the form of a rap, and then I performed it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Moochie.
That's not the only murder he mentioned. He mentioned the murder at the stash house. If they go back to that stash house, I'm just speaking hypothetically. This is the day and age they use DNA. Remember, the throw up was there. They talked about that.
Mom spaghetti.
So who could that could link basically put Kanan in the line of fire to get arrested.
I would say this.
There was too much detail in the song. You're right, Wayne.
Yeah, it was a lot of detail. It's
he was
not
telling too much. Like he's like he's close to it.
I see what you're saying, Larry, about rapping about your environment, but he put too much detail in the song, and he, you know what I mean?
That's what made it good.
He really too far. He walked the line and damn near crossed the line a little bit. and I don't think Kanan owe him an apology. Now, if he do it again, he actually need like maybe his ass whooped or something. Maybe, you know, it's really gone too far, I think.
That's what I
Like if he did make, you know, what you say, trap house or then yeah,
Trap house down.
Yeah, trap house down. That's his ass. Straight up. If he make that song,
that sounds like a dope song. Tell me that would not be a great song though. There's a whole story in there. And
the song they're gonna be making next is "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye." You know what I'm saying? Because he about to be gone, man. He doing a little too much. If he wasn't Kanan's friend, that's different because you're rapping about it and you're completely not involved at all. But you somewhat adjacent to it and you know too much. And if you get pressured by the cops or get in a bad situation, you know too much that you can mess up stuff, or you know what I mean? And he already is scary. So him being scary, like they say, he gonna fold like what, a Dollar Tree lawn chair. Yeah. Wow. So if he was just some dude like looking out his project window, rapping about it, didn't know any of the people directly, that's different.
It's the fact that he laid it out.
Yeah, he did a little too much.
Like if you just say here, there, everywhere, and we like mixing events and stuff like that, things can be coincidental. But the whole fucking song laid out the whole plot point of the whole season 1 of Crazy Gang.
Okay, so is this whole series then? Is this whole series 50 Dry Snitching then?
About different stuff and happened in his life when he was younger. Well, the difference
he
is
did that on the mixtapes. He did the same thing.
Yeah,
talking about Supreme and them on the
His
mixtapes.
name 50 Cent
is big.
Somebody ain't the name 50 Cent from a shooter in the hood.
Yeah.
So you're saying that? So basically, you're saying his whole career is dry snitching.
But this is the thing: if he's actually famous but wasn't with those guys, like how Rick Ross never was with the real Rick Ross.
That's basic. He's like just like Rick Ross, just like that.
Right. So that's.
So
not
you're saying that. So you're saying
there.
it's not. So it's not snitching if you're not with the crew.
Right.
Because you ain't details and stuff.
I think the crew would think otherwise.
So you think Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross, would call? He probably doesn't like the rapper Rick Ross, but right. But the rapper Rick Ross is not snitching on the real Rick Ross because he never was with him. He never even was in California. He just using his persona to capitalize off of and stories of drug dealing and stuff. Which is
so what if somebody actually knew the real stories? What if they weren't there, they weren't a part of the crew, but they knew the real stories and they rapped about them? Is that snitching?
If they wasn't part of the crew and didn't know them, then it's not.
But what if they knew the real stories?
If they're not part of the crew and don't know the people and they do know the real stories, I'm not going to say it's snitching. Like Famous.
That's what. If you had those stories and you had to go to court. If you had to go to court and you had those real stories and you told them, that would be snitching, right?
No, because in the court of law, that's considered hearsay, and hearsay is inadmissible in court. So I can say I heard you did some stuff.
So what if you just happen to see? What if Famous was across the street at the bodega across the street getting an icy pop or something? He came out and saw what happened.
Now
but that's not what happened.
That's considered an eyewitness, though.
I know we're talking about hypotheticals right now.
But then that's different. That's not hearsay. You're an actual eyewitness. You saw it.
But is that snitching?
So if he starts talking about what he saw, and you know Kanan. Now, if he was just some regular dude coming to get ice cream and he saw what happened and he started rapping about it, it's not snitching because he don't know Kanan and he don't know them. He don't owe them nothing. He just making a song about what he saw in his life. Now,
so if you don't know them and you don't owe them anything, then it's not snitching.
No, but if you know them, then you snitching.
So what if you know them but you don't owe them anything?
By knowing them, you owe them because that's your friend.
No, I'm saying, what if you know them but it's not your friend? Like, there's a lot of people I know that are not my friend.
Well, Now, you the main person to talk about no gray areas. You getting into gray areas.
Yeah,
Well, I'm asking, like, if you happen, like, there are people that you know from around the way, like, oh, that's that dude there from around the. I don't know, like that's not my man's and them. I don't know me. We don't hang out and play pool and drink together, but I know who he is. Now, if I walk out of the store and he's
right
shooting
here.
somebody, am I snitching if I talk?
Here's the answer to that question. So I know some people that was some big time drug dealers or whatever in the hood, and I knew them because they had the cars, this, that, and the other, but they didn't know me. So if I started saying this and that about stuff, they didn't know me, and I'm not with them, and I know really of them and who they are, but I'm not with them, so I don't owe them nothing if I started rapping about it. Now, if they knew me and I knew them, that's different now, because now we know each other. So if I just know of them or I know who they are, just like if I start rapping about my experience with Michael Jordan and I saw him drunk, well, I know him and I saw that, but he don't know me, so I don't owe him nothing, and he can't say I snitched on him. We don't know each other. Okay. Now, if me and Michael Jordan was cool, we may not hang out, but then I start rapping about he be drunk and this and that. I just snitched on him.
Okay.
All right. Moving along. Ladies, you all had a good point when we was there on Lamont's channel, and I wanted to get a little bit more information. So you all was saying that I think Nita's the one that said this one, that you would like to see Rock possibly, you said she won't kill Poppy, but she might place the order. Do you think that it would be better if she killed him herself, or do you think it's better that she just placed the order? Would you like to see Rock actually pull the trigger and kill somebody? What's your thoughts on Rock being an actual trigger killer? Pull the trigger.
Nope, absolutely not. I feel like when you are a true boss, you have people doing stuff for you. But what I will say is that I think that what's going to happen here is that I think when she gets ready to get rid of Gabriel, she's going to make way for her to do her thing. Because, like I said, even though Nick is a fan favorite, he's good, but I feel like that this is an opportunity to get another woman on. And I think that maybe she might be able to do that, but it may not be right away, because if that nigga was beating on her the way he was beating on her, she's not ready to be in that position. But she's learning. And I think what she's going to do is like probably take her on as like a mentor, mentee type thing, and try to build her up and all of that stuff. And like Larry said that Unique is a fan favorite, so we may still get him. We may cut Unique out the deal. I mean, not Unique, Dean out the deal. And since people like Unique, and he's going to be trying to fend, just like how she had to fend trying to find a connect or whatever. And some things may happen, but that's not what she promised. That what I heard, like you don't make a promise to a connect that you're not going to fulfill. That's for me. Like if I'm getting into a new deal with somebody and that person is the real plug, not the distro, I'm not saying that we ain't gonna have no competitors unless we not have no competitors. And that's just how I feel. That's just me. That's my thinking. But if the writers want to put Unique in there because everybody like, oh, yes, we love Unique, and they're gonna do that, then they're gonna do it. But I feel like we should usher in Juliana as another person, as a woman running Jamaican Queens. That's just me. Because we have a common thing. You know what I'm saying? We just have a common thing, and we have a mutual respect. Unique and Rock, the mutual respect is gone. take out your enemy totally. We're not doing that. Unique and Dean need to be gone.
All right, Moochie, what's your thoughts on that? Wendy Lee says she's the queen pin. Place the order. She don't need to do it herself. She got to place the order like DoorDash. What's up?
I agree. I think she's at the level where she don't need to get her hands dirty. Now, I'm not gonna say she might not kill him, Gabriel, but she could walk up in that bodega and see him roughing Julia up, and then it go down like that.
Okay.
Like she pull out her little gun in her purse and shoot him or something like that.
All right. That's all you want to add on that?
Yeah.
What do you think? Let me ask you this. What do you think about her saying that she choose Rock? She say, you choosing me, but I choose you too.
Yeah, she did. She did choose her once she came in there. She saw how she took a mental note of everything she did and how she spoke to Gabriel. Where
Right.
like if I'm gonna get out, this is my way out. She's planning. Okay. She started planning her exit from then.
Okay. Larry, I'm gonna let you chime in on this, but Jocelyn said, what happened to the white girl who got the dog baked in the microwave? We talked about Tony. What happened with Tony?
I think Marvin may have put it down too good. I think she needs some recovery time or something. I don't know. You know, I mean, we haven't been back in the club for a while because they just aren't really working the club. So I think there's not really a need for her yet. I think they'll have to circle back to that.
All right. What you think? Should Rock be pulling the trigger herself and increase the bond with Mamacita? What is it, Juliana? Or should she place the order and have Poppy killed like she's the queen pin, like she's been doing?
I think Rock needs to be careful with this lady because I think this lady she's presenting herself as like this vulnerable chick that just happens to have a connection. I think she's way smarter than we're giving her credit for. And I think she might end up coming for Rock's business. I think she might use Rock to have her husband taken out. And then she's going to end up potentially becoming a competitor for Rock. So I could very well see this, you know, she's already got the connect. I could see them getting their en route into Rock to the neighborhood where they're at, and then she's the one that starts supplying people. You know, I can see her. She becomes
Rock, huh?
Yeah, she's using Rock. I think Rock needs to be very careful with her. I think she might find that she's going to be a very big problem in maybe a season or so.
Okay. Layla Hood agree with you. Thinks that she's possibly using Rock. Even Jocelyn may think that as well.
It might happen later, not now.
One like Journey actually agree with that too. So, that's an interesting take. Love Hustler. A lot of people kind of agree with that one. I didn't think about that. I thought maybe she's not as helpless as it seems, and she's using Rock to take out Poppy. I didn't think about maybe to take over the business. I didn't think about that one. That's an interesting take right there. Nita or Moochie, any of you all want to chime in on that? What you think, Nita? Is she trying to take over Rock business too?
I think people need to put who they agree with because this is delayed when we're talking versus where it's airing, and the people aren't putting who they agree with.
Yeah, it's a delay. It's about a 15 to 20 second delay for some people. Some people maybe 30 seconds. So yeah.
Need some clarification.
Love Hustler says she too quiet. So we'll see. But yeah, she didn't have any black eyes this episode, support game. And I mentioned that yesterday. We talked about that yesterday and Saturday. It's about time that she actually ain't beat up. And I think somebody said, I think Moochie said that Poppy got a new woman in his life or something.
Yeah, that's what she said it herself. She said he wouldn't do his puta.
So I know she approved of that relationship. She probably hope he leave her. I still think that they could easily have him killed just when he's working at the bodega. Rock can have somebody put the order in to have him killed and just have some people come in and shoot him and say it was a robbery. Juliana don't have to call the cops until they good and gone. And they can say the cameras don't work.
Well, I think didn't they turn those cameras off when Rock and them came through?
Probably so. She put cameras in.
She put cameras in there.
Yeah, in the back room, but I don't think they're covering the store.
Oh, in the front.
She could have the stash all cleaned out of there. So if the cops want to snoop around and do whatever investigation, they don't have to worry about them finding the dope in the back. And Poppy would be gone. I mean, that's the type of unfortunate thing that happens in the hood and them type of stores. Robberies go bad and you get killed. And that would be the end of him. Cops wouldn't be trying to investigate too hard. So we'll see. Big L call them the Guala Gualas. That's his favorite line. The Guala Gualas.
I think that chick is like, she's just a certain way with her husband. I don't think she's that way with anybody else. There are some people that are just that way where they're like, I made this choice, I got married, I'm not gonna do it. But if it happens, it happens. And I think she might be one of those people. I mean, there's a lot of Catholic people out there that don't believe in divorce. They're believing like you can die and I can be free, but they won't get divorced no matter what. Right. And she might be one of those people.
Especially Hispanic women and stuff. They won't do it. So yeah. And
there's a lot of people who really feel like you can't, like if you were to go and leave your husband or kill your husband, they won't look at you the same way, even if that person's been abusive, because they'll feel like you were disrespectful to your marriage and to God and everyone else. So she's sort of stuck in a lot of ways if she wants to be in that game. And the best way to get out of that situation is to let someone like Rock kill her. And what better way to get someone like Rock to kill your dude for you, but ingratiate her, to yourself and to the whole stash house, make her feel like you see like the vulnerable woman and all that, make her feel like she wants to help you, like she wants to protect you.
Right.
And then let her take your husband out, and then you can go ahead and just start moving in on her.
I didn't see the second part, but it makes sense how you put it together. I didn't see it. We'll see. Jocelyn, my girl, she a Cowboys fan too. You say this lady will do just like the lady in Queen South and take over and run the drug supply. I never seen Queen of the South.
I want to watch that. I'm going to watch it.
I haven't. That comes on like what, Oprah's channel or something?
USA. I think it's
USA.
It's on USA.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out, but I didn't know that.
Old seasons and all that stuff. If you got Hulu, it's on Hulu.
I like to watch stuff on Hulu because there's no commercials too. I got a video for you. Yeah, I watch Hulu with no commercials. That's why I prefer to watch. That's when I watch Snowfall on Hulu. This video for you, Jocelyn. I still got more videos too for everybody.
You Harry,
Oh my goodness.
Before I got my teeth fixed. All right. Karen said you got an interesting take over here. And she definitely loved my videos. I'm glad you love them, Karen.
Those are funny.
One Journey said that she likes it, but it was canceled and it's on Netflix now. Queen of the South.
I mean, I think it would have been done. I don't think it was canceled. You know how people say it's your last and final season. I don't think it was canceled. I think there wasn't a big following behind it, but the people who really liked it, and that's why I keep trying to tell people to give shows time to develop their characters and get them in their groove when you can see where the real story is coming from. You're not going to see season one. You're just not going to see it in season one. And I like the take that Larry said, because everything that he said, that's what I'm thinking about Rock. and he's thinking about the Mexican girl, and I'm just like, oh,
Colombian.
right?
Yeah, she Colombian.
Yes, I mean, like, so like I said, I give you credit when you get it, and like I will tell you, my opinion. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a biased person. I will give you your credit when it's due, and when it's not, then I just say my opinion. But I think that's a nice touch, because in the 48 Laws of Power, and they said let your enemies be your friends, and then vice versa. You have to like play people just like in chess. And I never even thought about it, because she always been the vulnerable, and I have a soft spot for vulnerable people. Like, I'm not gonna let you talk trash about women, gay people. I'm not gonna do that, because no, that's the same thing as white supremacy. Like, I don't do that. Like, in order for you to be higher, you gotta put somebody lower. I'm not doing that. I'm not about that. Like, I want us to like kind of treat people the same, but I understand how it works. You know what I'm saying? I just understand how most of America works, but there are people who keep trying to buck it, and I just reject that type of thing. So I just kind of be I guess to the white supremacy people, I be the devil's advocate for people who are in lower positions, and that's my stance on it. So
one of the things I didn't like about the drug life is I didn't want to be, a part of putting somebody else down for me to come up. And I ain't talking about weed. Weed ain't nothing. But selling real drugs and stuff, that's messed up, So, you got to be a cold person to sell crack to people. It's just a cold game, cold job. Cocaine is bad, but it's more of a people with money dealing with that, and so maybe you don't really see it as much, the effect, or feel that way, because they got money and they seem to be doing great. Of course, eventually they end up doing horrible. As long as they doing it, whatever. But crack, I mean, that's $10, and you see people is like really messed up. So
yeah,
that's messed up. Jimbo G, thanks for supporting the channel, fam. You said Rock is smart. She thinks ahead. If this lady try to become competition to Rock, it will be problems. Rock will make more connections by then. Okay, well, we know that Rock is having a hard time getting connections right now, and she got to come to her for help. So if this lady does become a competitor, Rock will get cut off, and then she already don't have Dean. She won't have the Colombians. She gonna have a hard time trying to find a new supply and keep that pipe, that faucet turned on. Yeah. So that would be bad for her.
Y'all really think she's gonna be in the streets like how Rock is?
I don't think so. But
she'll probably be another distributor. I could see that, but I don't see her like in the streets on her grind like what Rock's doing. They doing two different things.
I could see her probably
being a supplier. Yeah, I could see that.
But I could see her simply bringing people in.
Yeah,
I could see her simply bringing people in, since I mean, you can just have the Colombians bring their own people in and just set up shop.
I like the take.
Yeah, that's why I said I can't see her with the hands-on thing. I could see her being like, either the distributor and it's like what you said, bringing her own people in, but not in charge. Like, was she out in the streets like how Rock is?
Right. All right, I got a video for you ladies out there. All right, I want to put a smile on y'all face. Here we go. This is before I learned how to eat the cookies. This is one of the moves I had to do.
Oh my God.
You got to get that smile on the face. This is before I was eating too much mac and cheese.
Oh my goodness.
That was my Magic Mike days, man.
Oh goodness gracious.
Big L said the Colombians love Colombians. They look out for themselves.
They do. That's what I was, and that's when Larry said that, I was like, ooh, you know what? We're the only ones that don't look out for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are really at a disadvantage as Black people, and it just is what it is. And so when Larry said that, I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah. But that's why I said that Rock will probably make a way to try to put her on, and she's going to learn from her, and she probably will double cross her and be the queen of the South, because I heard that's what's going on in the South. I don't know. I haven't watched it since season 1. I watched all of season 1. I need to pick up in season 2. But in season 1, the Hispanic lady, she was struggling, and like I said, you gotta go past season 1, and you know you'll get your story. Then you can't tell your whole story in season 1.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, if it happens, I don't think it's gonna happen this season or the next season. It might be starting to form by the end of the next season.
Right. So yeah, when Larry said, "Don't trust her like you think you won't trust her," just because you see her getting beaten down. Because a lot of times people use beaten down to get a leg up. You know what I'm saying? We've been so beaten down. You gotta use the measures that you can use to your advantage. And that's just what it is. And that's why we always had that struggle between men and women, what women do versus what men do. But if you're oppressed, then you gotta do whatever the hell you gotta do to get up, a leg up in the game. Same thing about Black people. The same thing how white people keep trying to pick Black people and treat us like dogs in the street. And then you be like, oh, but y'all get mad when we do the same thing y'all do. Yeah, because you gotta keep somebody at a disadvantage to stay at the top. But I just don't like it. That's just why I just reject all this stuff. So I'm getting off my soapbox.
That's all good. All right, so let me ask you all this. We talked about some things that Rock should do. One of the things I don't think she should do, but I think a couple of you all said she should do on Lamont, is that she should kill Dean. I don't think she should touch that. I think she should leave that alone. If she try to kill Dean and it doesn't go right,
it's gonna backfire on her.
Right, and she don't need to have 2 wars at the same time. She gonna have a war in Afghanistan and Iraq. You know what I'm saying? She might not want that. Moochie, I'm gonna let you kick it off. Should she try to go to war with Dean at the same time as having beef with Unique?
No, she needs to leave Dean alone. Once Dean find out she messing with them Colombians, it's gonna be a problem.
You think he cares though? He cut her off. I think he don't care.
Yeah, he cut her off, but if they start pushing it and doing better, then Unique, where more money's coming in, and Unique is buying less, because remember her whole operation is gonna change. They're not even gonna be on the corners no more. So it's gonna be like if he does accept her and gives her the product, because we don't know what he's gonna do yet, because he's basically filling her out. It could bring some attention to everything, because they're gonna know that she's dealing out of that building and everything. It's just a lot of things that's gonna start to change.
Okay. Before I go on to you, Nita, Jimbo G coming through like a true G with the dog piece. I appreciate you, Jimbo G. I got a good video for you as well. In case y'all new to the channel, we got 150 plus people watching right now. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe, hit that like. I got the link for Moochie and Nita and Larry's channel in the description box. Make sure you all subscribe, check them out. They all got great content, different things to talk about, different shows, as well as this show and stuff. So definitely support everybody. I appreciate y'all sticking with us this late, watching the show. I hope y'all having a good time. Jimbo said Rock will learn from the Dean situation and not struggle this time to make other connections, to be able to stay afloat or become bigger like Dean. This sound like how folks in my city be doing to get a leg up. What city are you from? You forgot to leave. You forgot to add that. Before we answer your question, let me go ahead and pull up a video for you, and then we'll go ahead and get to it. Nita, you want to say something right quick while I'm loading up the video?
No, I feel like I didn't talk the damn enough. I had to get off my soapbox. What we talking about?
Well, we ain't talking about the soapbox situation. What you thinking about? Well, here, I got the video now. I give you a break. All right, hold on. Because, you know, you ain't tell me what city you in, but I will say it's no country for old men. You know what I'm saying? So, let me take this comment down right quick.
Business of yours, friendo. Hold still, please.
Gotta take them out, baby.
He said Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan. Oh yeah, Flint ain't no joke. MC Breed, baby. MC Breed.
I got clean water over there yet?
Clean water. You right though. All jokes aside, they do need that water working. That's probably why people have to use some drugs out that way, man. They can't even get no water. It's stressful out there, boy. You have to smoke something.
I don't know to tell you, like, I mean, circumstances like kind of dictate your mindset. Like, you can't really like have that black and white. You have to be able to relate to different people and different subjects. Not saying it's bad, good, or indifferent. It can be indifferent, and I think that's where you sit, Larry, in indifference. It's not, you're not saying right or wrong. You're saying indifferent, but you're not saying indifferent. You're just like, oh no, I'm just not celebrating that. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I feel like in your stance, you give disrespect to the other side of things.
Moochie, Jocelyn said, did you get any of that Hurricane Ida while you was in New York?
I didn't get any flooding or anything. I was all right. Everything was all right in my area, but I like a little ways further up for me, they had a lot of flooding.
Oh wow.
And I know somebody that it was people that live like a mile away that died in the their basement apartment.
Damn.
Like the basement got flooded and they didn't get out.
That
was like not too far.
How did they get stuck in the basement?
That's what I don't understand. When did the water come rushing in? I know they had a basement apartment, and it was like it's quite a few people in New York that happened to. Because now they're getting ready to crack down on the illegal basement apartments.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah,
well, let me get to Larry right quick. Let me ask you this, and we try to get to a couple more topics for you all. We wrap it up, and before Larry got to get on up out of here. Larry, should Rock try to take out Dean, or should she leave that alone?
No, I think she should leave it alone. I don't think she actually needs to try and take him out, because I think that if she cuts this deal with the Colombians, which I think she's going to do, I think they're going to take him out for themselves, really, because eventually they're going to get in there and they're going to want to take everything because they're going to come in there. The Colombians have the direct connect. They're going to come in there like a whirlwind, and they're going to want everything. And I mean everything. They're going to come in there and they're just going to get rid of him. Because if they're the new connect, why do they need him? You know, Like they still need Rock because they need someone to actually push the stuff on the street level, but he's not a street level dude. So he's expendable, and he's gonna have to go. So, and there may be like Dean may be Dean, and he has a couple of his dudes around. But I mean, you start talking about the Colombians, you have entire cartels. They will just keep sending people down until you're done. You know,
that's true.
And you don't need to worry about sending particular soldiers here and there and have to worry about if they're going to be, you know, if anyone's going to spot them and if they're going to go and shoot up their family spot. The Colombians will just send people out, shoot up your spot, kill you, and then they'll just fly home. Done. Yeah,
that's true. And also I want to give a shout out to everybody that became a new member to this channel. And being a part of the Discord, we in there talking about different subjects. You could talk to us that's on the panel. We watch movies, all kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely think about joining and becoming a member of this channel. The link is in the description box below if you want to join and be a member. We got a lot of fun things. We watch movies. We watched Power when it was on. Before we came onto the show, all kind of stuff. We watched Don't Breathe Part 2 the other night and all kind of things. So talk about sports, all kind of stuff. So it's definitely something that you might want to check out, and it's a lot of fun. Larry, I'm going to kick this off with you. All right, so Symphony, all right. Is he going to be upset or feel betrayed when he finds out Rock has been using all his info for evil?
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for him. That's going to be a big problem for him. And I think it's going to come at a time when Rock is going to find herself allowing herself to be vulnerable. And it's going to come in such a way when he's going to have some righteous indignation towards her when he realizes what she's done. And he's going to be like, wait a minute, you used me. You used all the info I gave you to run your drug business. That's not what I'm about. I know what you do, but I don't mess with your world. You don't need to mess with mine. And I think he's going to be very upset by this. Rock may, I don't know how her reaction is going to totally be, because she may feel one way inside and behind closed doors, but she, you know, she'll act a different way in public. Like, I don't want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. And then she'll be up there feeling all kinds of way privately. So, but he's definitely going to be upset by that, I think, because he seems like he's a fairly straight up dude, even though he's dealing with this craziness. But, you know, people do strange things when they find someone they care about. So
should he be strongly considering having a baby, going half on a baby? This is the picture when he found out. He looked at her like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to have a baby with her. I think when she asked about that, he looked at her like, me have a baby with you? Are you crazy? That's the way I looked at it. I didn't think I think he looked at her like, hell to the no, I don't want to have a kid with you. You know, and it almost felt like she had to pull it out of him for him to say, yeah, I guess we could do that. That would be, you know, it felt like she was really having to pull that out of him. I don't feel like he wanted to. I think he just does not. I think he's having fun. I think he cares about her, but I think when you start talking about kids and marriage, it takes things to a different level. And I think he is very much he's very much on a different sort of plane than she is right now. She's definitely about her drug life and her thing, and he's definitely about not that. And so
is she delusional, talking about she gonna be able to sit back and let Lulu take over, and like she gonna be the CEO and just collect checks? Like I think she's delusional with that. Do you think that
seems sort of ridiculous? It's sort of like, if you get out the game, I feel like you just need to go ahead and whatever money you leave with, expect that's going to be what you have. But what she could do is recognize this is a good man who's about to have a fantastic career, and I don't really need to be in the drug game. I mean, he could provide me the life and the lifestyle that I want to have, just working a regular job, working his job. He can make that money, and so I don't really need to do that. I can just leave the game and be with him. Done.
Right.
She's not dumb. I mean, obviously, if he wants to have kids, she can have kids, and she can do the whole Holly housewife thing, or she can go back and find something else to do with her life. Maybe start it. I mean, she obviously knows how to run a business, not the best, but she can learn. She's learning how to run a business better. She can start a business, some other sort of business, something legitimate.
Okay, Nita, what's up? Is he going to be upset when he find out she using his ideas and stuff for evil? And should he be thinking about going half on the baby and all of this? And is she delusional with what she thinking? She is a young woman still, 31, but she don't understand probably what she was even saying and thinking. What you think?
Nah, for me, as a mother of a preteen boy, I ain't having no babies. In my reviews, if y'all ever heard me talk, y'all will hear me say that Rock asks questions to feel out where your brain is at, where your pattern of thinking is, so she can use it against you. Not against you, maybe for her, not against you. I just felt like it was just one of those type things like Moochie said. What Moochie say?
What?
Blind.
Oh yeah.
Well, she woke him up real quick when she said that.
Yeah, he
wasn't. He was like, what? I was like, oh, girl. That's when I thought he started. That when he started darting his eyes around like he didn't know how to answer that question, I felt like, oh, he might be fake. Yeah, like I wasn't thinking he was a face. I was just like, ooh, that didn't seem genuine. It didn't feel like, all the pomp and circumstance that he's coming with, hauling notes and all that stuff. I just felt like he was like laying it on real thick, and I just felt like when she threw him for that, he was like, his eyes. I mean, I'm telling you, he was like taken aback. He didn't know what to say. Like I said, he gave the right answer. It wasn't yes or no. It was just like, yeah, I can see that. But at the end of the day, I don't think Rock is gonna see it that way. She knows that Marvin wants the game. She knows that Lulu does not want the game, and his head not in the game, and she wanting to get the Lulu. And I don't even think her and Lulu are on the same page anymore. So
that's a good point. She should be thinking about leaving it to Marvin, if anything.
Right.
Even though I still don't think it might work, but she's not even on the same page with Lulu. You're right.
Right. And if what Larry says is correct, is if Stephanie, as a bartender and a teacher, can provide her the lifestyle that she wants, then okay. But I don't think so.
Not now. Once he graduated, I think Larry was a loser.
I mean, people keep trying to dog him like he's a bartender and a teacher. He's a master's candidate. He's doing those jobs to pay for his master's degree.
He don't have no potential. That's what I'm saying. If she sees that, okay, I didn't add that. Okay, whatever. His master's potential. I don't bet on potential. But what I'm saying is that if that's what she sees, then maybe okay. But like I said, I don't think, I just think it's one of those things, like what I keep trying to tell y'all. I said, listen to the questions that Rock talks about. She did it with D-Wiz, she did it with Kanan, she does it with Lou, she does it with Marvin. She gives them enough rope to hang themselves so she will know how to play her hand later on in the thing. That's just what I think. I don't know.
Nita, I want you to hear what I want you to hear what you just said. You said, I don't bet on potential. This brother has already finished college and is in school getting a master's degree and teaching in the process. You're talking about you don't bet on potential. This brother is already doing it. He's just about to do it at a different level when he gets his master's degree. That's like meeting a dude that graduated from college and now he's in med school and you're like, I don't want to deal with him because he's not a doctor yet. I mean, That's why dudes often say, you know what? That's why dudes end up getting, sometimes they go a little sideways when they deal with women sometimes, because they hear stuff like that and they think like, oh, I see what's up. Now once I become a doctor, then they want to come knocking on my door. Nah.
All right, Moochie, you've been waiting patiently. What's your thoughts on all of this?
I feel like he was caught off guard with her asking that question. Because even the way he answered it, I think he was being polite. I feel like she was not telling the truth about her getting out the game. That's
Is
her
she
life.
wrong for using his ideas for evil?
Yeah, but I don't think she's gonna tell him what she did with her ideas, because he don't know her business like that. If anything, he's gonna find out Kanan's idea about the gas station before anything, because that's going left already.
Right.
But I
Okay.
don't think he's gonna put two and two together like that.
All right. That makes sense. So this will be the last topic before everybody get up out of here. Did Lulu overplay his hand, or did he play it right at the diner? I talked about this already on my channel with some other people. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Just to recap what I said, I think that he should have continued to play chess with Unique and not told him or All You Can Eat what his plans was and what he tried to do. Some people on the channel was saying to hell with him, and basically to hell with Unique. I'm done playing with you. You ain't worth a damn. You a batch and a half, and you lucky I missed. So I don't think I would have told him that. I wouldn't have joined forces. I would have played him just like he played me when I came at the, dressing room and I asked you to be cool and you said, yeah. And then you had a plan. So when they came at me, I wouldn't have said, yeah. I would have said, just like Lulu said at first, it's nice to hear those things. I would have just said, let me get back at you and give me a day to think about it. And I'll talk with you. And then I would have told Rock what's up and we would have came up with some type of plan. I don't know. Moochie, I'm gonna let you kick it off. Then Nita and Larry, I'm gonna give you the last word on this. Go ahead, Moochie. What you think?
I was surprised that he told him no the way he did, calling him a BAM.
Right.
A BAN. But then with him calling the other one a cookie eater. I feel like yeah, like the Cookie Monster, I feel like he revealed too much of his hand.
I agree.
So now they already was on the guard, but now they really gonna be watching him. And now he gotta really keep his eyes open now, because now they gonna be gunning for him.
Yeah.
And I think it was just payback for how they messed up the whole showcase event too.
Yeah.
And how they did Scrappy.
Yeah, that's true. Paperboy says that he thinks Unique overplayed his hand, and he said why nobody sees it that way. I don't know. Paperboy was on my show last night, and what he said, to re-explain a little bit of what he said, is he said that Unique overplayed his hand by coming to Lulu as if Lulu didn't know you just tried to kill him, and thinking that Lulu was basically a punk and that you can get him to join you after what you did to Scrappy, and you didn't hold your word by coming to the showcase. Now, if he would have held his word at the showcase, remember,
it probably would have played out different. I agree.
Right, because Lulu said you may need a favor one day, and he didn't hold his word, so Lulu like whatever. But I still wouldn't have played and showed my hand. That's all. I wouldn't have went with him. I just wouldn't have said it. He's saying Unique did too much, and that pissed Lulu off, and that's why Lulu did that. What you think, Moochie? You think anything?
I agree with what Paperboy said because he Unique, he feeling himself already because he feel like he's winning because Rock's corner's down. They don't got no dope. He said all the reasons why he think he winning. Yeah. They already took out his little spy. And she's drying up. He's basically like she gone for him. Okay. He said all of that. But yeah. I feel like he knew that he says, I understand you won't leave because that's your sister. And when he said, no, it's not that. He said, I'm flattered. Right. I'm really happy to be hearing this. But I just don't F with BAN. And cookie eaters too. But I like the way he handled it because he was so cool and smooth. That's why I love Lulu.
Right. All right, Nita. What's your thoughts on this situation?
I'm all over the place with this whole situation because Moochie made me think about Lulu missing a target that is sitting right in front of you. And saying that he missed it on purpose. And one of the 48 laws of power is the play a sucker to get over on a sucker. You know what I'm saying? It's like you try to neutralize somebody to try to make them think that they're smarter than you. And the way Unique is acting, he's acting like he has the one up on them, and he acts like he has that. And maybe Lou has something in his back pocket that I'm not getting right now because I don't understand why he would do that. Like he did overplay his hand. Like he overplayed his hand with old boy right there, the boy that was snapping in the wind. Pussy eater. And then he also overplayed it with Unique. Like I felt like maybe if he played it like he played them both at the same time. Like I felt like if you would have did it subtly and did one against the other, and then maybe they would have saw some kind of different type of thing with it. I don't know. But like I said, we had this discussion since 9 o'clock tonight, and I'm listening to everybody's theories, and Moochie had a really good one. And I keep pondering and trying to figure out what is the next move. And I just want to hope that Lulu got something else in his back pocket. That's all I'm trying to say. I just hope that he really did he overplayed that one like to the max. And that's why are we going to talk about episode 8, the trailer? How Meek was at the house, and I'm assuming it's Rock's house because everybody know where the hell she laid her head at.
That's what I always say, man. That's one of the problems I got with this world. Right. Everybody go around places. Everybody know where it is. Like that's the recipe for disaster.
Yeah. But that's how it was back then. We in the 90s still.
Not
they not doing their business out their house, but everybody know where they live.
Know where somebody live at. I
mean, they not doing their business out the house, but it's too many people that know where they live. So to me, it seemed like that one time they all worked together.
I don't know. They don't hide and where they live and stuff.
They follow people. If you notice, the police follow people. The drug dealers follow other drug dealers. That's all they do. They always got somebody tailing somebody to see what they do.
And that's how it was in Chicago. Like people would drive different ways home and different stuff. Like, and if you did know, like people knew where you was, you didn't just walk in willy-nilly. Like you always had people with you type stuff and checked around every corner. And I mean, they just walk into places and walk out as if it ain't a care in the world, like a normal person. So, and this all the power shows. So that's the one thing that, I just don't get. But Larry, what's up? What you think about this? What did Lulu overplay his hand and make a mistake laying all the cards out on the table? or should he have continued to play chess? And even though he wasn't going to go with Unique, still keep playing the game and not let him know what he going to do.
Yeah, I think he overplayed his hand, but I think Unique never really expected him to come with him. But the first thing that I saw in this scene that was just really interesting to me was when Lulu asked him if he wanted some of his sandwich, and he was like, "Nah, I don't put that shit in my body." He said something, "I don't put that kind of stuff in my body." It was like, you know, it was just a real slick insult, just kind of like, "Nah, man, you know, you gotta treat yourself better than that."
Right.
But
he's vegetarian.
But I think that, you know, the thing that I think that's happening here, I think he really this was just a setup to sow seeds of doubt within Rock's organization, because I think he knew that Lulu was never going to come work for him. But if he goes and asks him, and now, Lulu's like, "Nah, it's not that I don't like what you're saying. I just don't want to work for you." Lulu could take that back. He can go take that to Rock and be like, "Hey, you know, yeah, I met with your mans and them, and offered him a job, and he didn't say he didn't want to leave you. He just said he didn't want to work for me. You know, you might want to watch who you work with, you know, and just get Rock thinking like she can't really trust anybody around her. If he starts sowing these seeds of doubt within her mind, and he starts getting other people to, you know, maybe he approaches Marvin next, you know, maybe he approaches Kanan."
Told Rock immediately what happened though.
Huh?
And that's why I say I wouldn't have put my cards on the table. But like when I left the diner, the first thing I'm doing is calling and letting her know what just happened. So
but we didn't see that. So we didn't see that. So I'm assuming that didn't happen. And you know, we've seen already that Rock and Neek have had a couple little powwows where they're walking, having conversations and having parlays and whatnot. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next time one of those happened, Unique mentions to the fact that he had a sit down with Lulu, and that's really, really gonna piss Rock off if Lulu didn't tell her, you know, because now she's gonna be like, "Wait a minute, why didn't you tell me? What is there that I need to know that you just didn't tell me?" You know, it's not something like you just saw this dude cruising through your neighborhood. Now you need, you know, and he just happened to be there. When you actually go to the diner and you have a sit down and dude offers you a job, and you don't mention that, I mean, that's a problem, you know?
Yeah.
So I think he knew exactly what he was doing. I think he's just sowing seeds of doubt.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And I got
sorry, to your other point, as far as did Lulu overplay his hand, I think he did, and not just because he told him everything, but I think he put his entire organization at risk, because the other dude didn't know who came after him. He didn't know who shot at him, who was in his house, and now he told him who he was. Now everybody's at risk. He's at risk. Marvin's at risk, because dude's going to come for anybody. If he can't get Lulu, he's going to get who he sees, you know?
Right. And also, I wanted to ask you this real quick. I'll get y'all take on this because I know you press for time pretty soon, but why is Rock not telling Kanan anything about Detective Howard? Now, she wants him to grow up thinking that his dad is a potential drug dealer that's in jail versus a cop. Now, we did do the math, and if he's been a cop for 25 years and he got to be at least probably 21 to be a cop, at best 18, but if he was 21, that would put him at 46, and she 31. So, and she had Kanan at 15, which means if he's 46 and she 31, he's 15 years older than her. So he was 30 when she was 15. So he Detective Kelly.
Yeah.
Is that the secret that she's trying to hide and protect? What's going on with this? Why won't she tell him? Why is she leaving this up in the air? What's your thoughts on this, Larry?
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like she just doesn't want him to know, because, I mean, partly probably because she was with a dude, with a cop, when she's supposed to be with this dude that's in the game. And it could have been, I mean, she might have been one of the dudes that snitched. She might have been somebody who snitched and gave up some information, you know? Either she snitched on, you know, intentionally, or maybe she just gave it up on accident because dude just got the information out of her while they were sleeping together. I don't know. but it could be the underage thing that kept him from ever saying anything. Like she might have been like, I don't ever want anything to do with you, and I don't want you to have anything to do with my son. And if you ever say anything, I'm a snitch because, you know, I'm underage. I was underage, so maybe that's what kept him away for so long. But
right,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously she's living this life. She wants everybody to think she's just in the streets, and she wants to keep Kanan believing him, you know, the stories that she tells him. It's not a good look if all of a sudden it turns out that his dad is a cop. So
that'll take away some of her street cred that she built up, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Nita, you want to chime in on this right here? Why did she keep that a secret from her?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same as Larry. I don't think
Can't hear you.
I don't think it's gonna fare well either way. You know, either, you know, she was fucking around with a cop and that he was 10 to 12 years older than what she was when she was fucking around with him and she had a baby by him. So either way, I don't think it's gonna work out to anybody's advantage. But I think at this point in time, Howard is in the most vulnerable position, and he has something to gain out of that information. And I think right now Rock is on the defense, and she's trying to but at the same time, she has that at her disposal. She has that. She could have been what is that? Sabotage. What's it called when underage
statutory rape?
Statutory rape.
Yeah.
I mean, she has that to kind of fall back on, and which really brings me back more on. I feel like she could be operating more like a Davina type girl. Like, you gotta make the best of your surroundings and what you gotta do. And she might have been messing with this person and messing with that person, and she just went with the best option. I don't know what could have happened, but hey, it's not on me, it's on her. But I'm thinking it could have been like, you know, real cloudy. Like we don't really know what happened, but we do know that she was a child. You're not gonna keep calling Kane a child, and you're not gonna call Rock a child. And so at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you. And you know, ain't nobody looking out for you like you looking out for yourself. So I just feel like maybe she made the best decision for how she saw her future, what opportunities she had, whatever she had available to her, and that's just what it was. And we'll see how it shakes out.
Okay, Moochie, why is she keeping this secret? What's your thoughts?
I feel like she's keeping a secret because she lied to Kanan in all these years, and he might not take it too hot if he finds out that that's his father. You basically, I think she's living off the strength of DEFCON's reputation because she's, you know, from the last episode we saw how that guy looked at her like he knows her rep. That's how he looked at her, the guy that was challenging Lulu. So I feel like if it's known that Detective Howard's her father, they all gonna know she was lying. Her brothers, everybody, her whole organization.
That's true.
And it might take a turn for the worse.
Okay. All right. Before we get out of here, what's your take on the next episode? What do you want to say about the next episode before we go, Moochie?
Well, they're gonna be after Kanan. Like I said, he's gonna get jammed up. He's gonna get jammed up. And remember he did go to he was in a youth like Sparford or something like that, like a kiddie jail. So reform school or whatever the case may be.
And that's in the next episode?
No, I'm just saying, like, if they're going by what happened to 50 when he was younger, he was locked up when he was younger.
Okay.
I'm just speculating at this point. As far as with Jukebox, I feel like this is gonna make we're seeing another impact on her, which is gonna change her whole persona, her whole personality, and everything. Because now that this girl is dead, we didn't get to see the letter. I want to see what that letter says that she wrote to her, because that's really gonna mess with her now.
Right. That's her last words.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that's deep.
So I feel like that's gonna mess with her and it's gonna change her as a person. And I want to see the reaction that I want to see the reaction of Nicole's parents towards Jukebox.
Whoa, we're gonna spray her with some rain. Yeah, I remember that commercial that All right, Nita, what you want to say about the next episode? What you want to see? What you think? Predictions, whatever, for the next episode.
The next episode, I'm hoping. Y'all hear it?
I hear you barely. You sound better when you're a little closer, though.
Okay. For me, I think my prediction is I'm hoping that the thing where Unique said it's about to get smoky out here, and I'm hoping that he at Rock Place, and everybody know that he gonna be at Rock Place. I'm hoping Rock is behind them, taking all of them out. I'm hoping that he bring all his men. He's ready for war. Everybody get taken out. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping with that. We always know what Dean convenes. So there's that. And I hope that she is working with Juanito.
Juanito, that's what I call him.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know his real name, but Juanito sounds good enough to me.
I heard somebody call him Juanito. Okay, so no, I'm hoping that she's working with him. And she said, I'm hoping that you're going to work with me to grow my business. So I'm hoping that these things may come to play. Lulu has a thing to play with that. Rock has a thing to play with that. But the only thing that I think is going to be a hindrance is this whole thing with Howard, the white cop, famous song, Davina. I'm thinking that's going to pull a monkey wrench and things. I know we still got 3 episodes left, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so
yeah,
those are just my predictions. That's what I want to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll see. That's
okay. Larry, the last word is yours. What you think is going to happen next episode? What you want to see? You got the last word of the night.
Yeah, I think that we're actually going to see Juke go straight. I think her girlfriend dying is going to be that catalyst that pushes her to go straight. She's going to be upset when she finds out that, when she realizes that dope came from her, from Kanan, and then consequently from her, since it was in her bag. And I think it's going to cause her to go straight. She's going to want to get out of that life. It's going to open up the opportunity for that female cop to actually have those conversations with her, because she was saying, if you ever want to talk, I'm here for you, not just about this street stuff, just life stuff in general. Let her know. She was telling her, I know about things that other people don't know about. And I think she was referring to the whole, gay thing. And I think she's going to find, because she's not going to have anybody else really to talk to. She can't talk to Kanan about it. She's not really going to talk to Rock about it. She can't talk to her dad. I think the only person she's really going to be able to talk to is this cop. And this cop's going to find that opportunity to connect with her. And I think she's going to end up going straight, because we know she ends up becoming a cop at some point. So she's going to have to either she's going to be an excellent criminal that never gets caught and never has her name mentioned anywhere, or she's going to go straight.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like me, never get caught. No, I'm joking. I ain't lived a criminal life like that. Anyway, so that's interesting take. That she may go straight. I think that we will definitely see the beginning of her not liking the drug game. even more. She already don't like it, like she say, because her father's in it. And that's another example of like how I was saying about people see stuff and that's negative and they get positive example from it. So like Davina doesn't use drugs because of her mama. Jukebox don't want to sell drugs or use drugs because of her daddy. And I think that what happens with this may make her even more turned off with people in the drug game because of Kanan giving her that, and it was a bad batch, and it killed her first love. So I definitely could see her get. And then when the mom finds out, I think we all agree that Madonna's mama gonna come for Jukebox head right there. And I think Howard will get that bone marrow because he gonna end up having the same Jukebox and Kanan from, Madonna's parents, and from going to jail or catching some type of blame, and he gonna say, "Give me some of that juice. I needed the juice. Give me the juice."
And people are saying we might see some killing. I think the only people that are probably safe to kill are, are probably those dudes working for Marvin. That's probably it from Rock's crew,
or maybe Cookie Monster.
Well, he can get taken out from Neek's crew, but there's not enough other characters in here that you can take him out because you can't take out Kanan. He is the title character. You can't take out Marvin or Lulu just yet because they're integral to the show. And the same thing with Rock. You potentially could take out Famous. You could take out Lulu's girl. Some of those other characters you can take out, but the thing is that anybody you take out, no one's really gonna care. There's really no one significant enough that we're gonna care about that I feel like they can dispense of right now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the impact wouldn't be that strong for any of those people.
Like, nobody cares about them, but I think the impact on the person that they take it out on will change that person significantly.
That's a good point. Right. May not affect the audience, but they may affect the characters.
Right.
Okay. We'll see. All right. Well, look, I appreciate you all for coming through tonight. As always, Muchella hanging with the fella. Nita the Diva, Larry the Legend, all in the mustard. Can't catch up. Talking about the shirt for those that may be wanting to take it somewhere else. It's just the joke on the shirt. And I appreciate everybody for watching. Over 150 people still rocking with us tonight. You all stayed all this time. I guess you enjoyed the show. At the very least, please hit a like, hit the thumbs up. Don't give me that, I don't want it in my stream. Just if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. What difference do it make? Help a brother out. You got entertained for a couple hours for free. Give a thumbs up.
Are you not entertained?
Right.
Are you not entertained?
So, as a matter of fact, that you can't get too much entertainment that long. And like Larry said,
are you not entertained?
I went to battle for y'all tonight. No, we all came through for y'all. So give a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe to everybody's channel. We all appreciate it. It's the only thing you can do that costs you nothing, and you get a value for your entertainment that you put into it. I want to give a special thanks to everybody that joined the membership and the Discord family. You get a chance to interact with us in Discord. Even Moochie is in there. Larry's in there. Nita the Diva gonna have to come up in there pretty soon. as well as many other people. Big L is in there. Y'all want to talk to Big L? You know, Paper Boys, we all in there. We have a good time. We talk, we laugh, watch movies. It's really a good little brotherhood that everybody get to enjoy, have a good time. It's a great value. Even those that have a YouTube channel, you get to put your YouTube videos in there, share it with each other, ask questions with each other about different things. We got a ladies, you know, section. There's a private section. Only the ladies can talk about lady things, like, you know, what type of cookies they like, you know, baked for them. What recipe works the best, you know, and many other things. We got sports talk for the guys. We talk about movies, all of that stuff. So definitely check it out. I hope y'all had a great time. I'm out of here. Anybody want to say something before they go?
No, it's been fun. Next time.
Right, definitely. All right. Peace, everybody.
All right. Later, y'all.
Be safe. And I'll hit y'all with one more before we go.
That was disturbing.
Eating them cookies. Got carried away with that last batch of cookies over there. All right, y'all. Be safe. Peace.